with this and it's dry, so reasonably dry anyway. There's probably a few slight wet patches. I've decided I'm going to go in. It's quite bright, so first of all I'm going to go in and I'm just going to use this little bit of plastic packaging as my palette this time. I'm going to go in with some white and just tone this all down first, and then I think I might add some lipstick fizz. Not 100% sure. It's hard to tell how much white you've got on your brush because wiping it off in the kitchen roll you can't tell, so I always go on kind of, yeah, you see that's still too much. I go on incredibly lightly, keeping my brush slanted, bring it in from the edges. Yeah, I'm just going to dry my brush off a little bit more. Seems to be bringing something else through there. Then you need to keep making up more as it dries. That's the thing about easy coat and pigments. The paint won't last forever, and a lot of people find it wasteful to have to wipe it off, but it's how you get the best effects by doing it. So as you can see, I'm kind of building that up now, the difference of this to the larger heart over there, and I'm just going to keep going around and building it up with the white. So I'm going to pause the video for you and quicken that whole experience up as I dry brush the rest of it. Okay, so we've toned that down a little bit with the white now. Now I'm going to add some lipstick fizz. It will give a little bit of a multi-tonal effect. And we're just wiping off the excess and just bringing some of this, because it's metallic as well. I don't know if you can see how that's blending in. We don't want it over everything. I don't think we want to lose, just maybe over this bottom corner. Maybe we can bring another colour in through the top. So we have this, and I'm sure you can see now as it's blending in. I have a temptation, it's one of my favourite colours. I'll just go and grab it. So this is Terra Violet. This is like a golden colour, or a terracotta golden colour. However, in the light it will sparkle hues of violet. I think that will go nice with this. So put the little lipstick fizz. So this is one of the Powertex Colour Tricks colours, the Terra Violet, whereas the Lipstick Fizz is one of the Powertex Secret Art Loft ranges. So we've got different ranges of powder pigments available. Just dry that off. Now the thing about metallics is they go on extremely heavy in comparison to the colour, just the generalised colour. So again, it is good to, that's still a little bit wobbly because we're still a bit wet. Yeah, so the metallics sometimes go on a bit too heavy. I actually think I want to go on with more white. I think I want to bring more white from that corner. We can always go back with some metallics later. I'll just build this white up. Using the wrapper as a palette. Use everything for everything. Try not to waste anything. I may just add this white in. White is to me, one of the most useful colours in the powder pigments, because you can go on with your Powertex base, and then sometimes all you need to do is just dry brush over with white, just to highlight little areas. The bronze gold does exactly the same with the bronze brown Powertex base. It's just a colour that you can just get away with using too. I think, to me, this is probably where I want to leave it. It's actually quite, although I'm not a pink person, I prefer purple. I think this is probably where it's happy at it, you know, there's enough to it. So I'm going to sign off and move on to the next project while I let this one dry properly, and then I'm going to bind it all together with some string and show you what it looks like when it's completely finished. See you shortly. Okay, so one of the next things that I decided to do was the other half of the heart I was going to cover in sunflowers, and I've just noticed now on the camera I have a little bit of mist there. So I covered it in stone art on both sides, as I did with the red one, but this one, the sunflower moulds that we had, that came as part of the box, this one. So I made some stone art sunflowers. I'm making the clay with equal parts liquid, fabric hardener to stone art powder, and then pushing them into the moulds once it's in a clay format. So I then, the paper that you saw that came in the box, again, not really my thing, but you know, I'm going with it. I'm making a nice bright spring canvas, and I went with a hexagon canvas because I don't know why, but it reminded me of bees when I saw this heart-shaped sunflower that I'd made, and I was like, what can I incorporate it with? And this was what I came up with. So what I've actually done here is, and I don't know if you can see some of the cracks that I have, if I just move it around, possibly not. I actually mixed some 3D flex with some of the yellow Powertex. I made it into a spreadable consistency, so rather than making it a little bit thicker like you would to get really deep cracks, I just did it in nice thin spreadable layers and ran it over a stencil, and it's a nice honeycomb stencil. So what I now plan to do is adhere this and some embellishments onto this canvas using ivory, and then I'm going to use, this is actually yellow, it's egg yolk ink, so it's an orangey yellow colour, and it's the translucent Secret Art Loft inks that I've put into a spray bottle. So I'm going to use the ivory Powertex, adhere all these on. I've got some wooden pieces, I've got lots of different Powertex flowers that I'm going to add, and I'm just going to create this effect and then spray with the ink, like I said, and then I will turn back on and see where we're at and decide where we go from there. So I'm going to pause now while I quickly go on and do that, so the video is not too long for you guys. I did forget to say, I think that the paper, the mulberry paper here, with the flowers was adhered using Easy Coat Matte. You paint the canvas or the base that you're working on. You then paint the back of the paper, put it in the place you want it, and then paint over the top to seal it, and that will make, so this is actually waterproof, so even if I get ivory Powertex over some of the image, I can actually wipe it away to see some of the flowers or the butterflies or whatever I like. Now it did quite fit over the canvas, it did up to about here, so a lot of this under here is patchwork, but that's fine because I'm sure you're used to using, some people will be used to using decoupage paper, and you can patch up quite easily with that. So I'm going to go and sort out this canvas and get it ready for the next stage. Okay, so I've covered all of the MDF and the flowers in the ivory Powertex. So now I'm going to spray on some different colours. So this is, as I've said before, the Raspberry Secret Art Loft acrylic ink. I have palm leaf that I've slightly watered down, and then I have yellow egg yolk. And I'm going to spray some of these and possibly some bistas, I'll decide, and then I'm going to paint on as well some colours. So this just makes it quite subtle, and I'm doing this around the edge where maybe the beehive is, where the honey is. I'm going to round where some of the leaves are. I'm going to try and blend in squirts of green. And then some of the raspberry. And again, I'm going to go over with the colours a little bit more. Now what I'm going to do is, and you can use a little dropper for this, or you can go straight in and paint, but before I do that I'm going to dry the hairdryer, so I'm going to dry this off and then I'm going to start painting in. So this is really pastel-y and subtle, but I don't want to start dipping into the ink like I was doing before, as you start to end up with little bits of the ivory Powertex in your ink, and then it just dirties your ink. So I'll just dry this off and get back.